So today is a very exciting day for little Tim-Tims in here. Timmy! And also for me, because we are going to do a new setup. A really cool idea I've got as well. Now currently Timmy is right in this corner here where all my desk setup is, and it's very cramped. It's really nice having him right next to me to be able to see him all the time, but it's just so much harder to get in for maintenance. Obviously water, near electrics, probably not the best idea. So I'm switching them out over the other side of the studio, and I'm gonna have a sort of racking system here for some API products and all my camera gear as well. Because currently it mostly sits on my desk and all the charging ports and everything on the floor, which just, yeah, it's not good enough. And here is little Tim now. He knows something's going on. It's a very boggy sort of setup. He's got bog style, which they absolutely love because there's tons of places for him to hide. And the Odessa barbs, I mean, they look insanely good as well. A little bit of breeding action there going on. There's a female. They all think food's coming as well, so they're going a little bit nuts. Tank doesn't look as good as it could though, does it? There's only a little bit of scum lines to be fair, but yeah, we can do way better. Now the first job is just to give Timmy a temporary home, so I'm just gonna put some water in the bucket, not too much, and a bit of wood and stuff, and he can just sit in there whilst we're creating this new environment, and he'll be absolutely fine. Don't need a filter or anything like that because they breathe air, they don't breathe underwater. And it's probably best to just slide this whole thing out. We're on wheels, so it should be okay. Please don't fall, please don't fall. Okay, that's enough for the minute, and then I can keep working as well. Oh, Kate's just arrived. She'll be happy. Timmy's getting his new home. Just put this wood in, and he probably can't climb out of here, but they are very good climbers, and that looks like a gap he can stretch, so take that out. I'll just put a rock in. Oh no, hang on, smaller piece of wood. There we go, it's just something for him to perch on if he wants to. Come on then, buddy. He's like, what the hell? You have to hold turtles very tightly because they do try and kick, and I hold above and below, and he should be fine. He will try and kick. You good, buddy? It's just temporary. He'll hide for a bit. And then it's just a case of draining the tank down, and I'll take out the Odessa barbs and put them in on the fish pool at the back here. I've got an empty tank right there. So the tank is now empty. Down in this bucket, we've got Aquasoil in zip bags, you know, like the mesh bags. Hardscape went in there. We've got the Odessa barbs in this bucket, and then we've got the sand in here, which I'll give a good rinse out because it's got like algae bits and that on it. We want to start fresh, don't we? So the tank itself is 80 centimeters, 45 centimeters high and 40 centimeters back. I'll put all the details on the screen. The cabinet is from Superfish, which is designed for a slightly smaller tank. So as you can see, there's the slightest of overhang, but not gonna matter. The whole base is supported. And the light is also a Superfish light. Now I use this on lots of my tanks because it works so well. For instance, there are four of them on the 8-foot tank. There we go, look, you can see them all up there. I've got one on the rainbow fish tank. Everything's looking so good. And I've got one of them on the Ender tank as well. Grows plants really well, illuminates the fish up nicely. Just really good, and such good value as well. So the first thing I want to do is add like a retaining wall in the tank. And this is because I want to build up the back area to be able to put terrestrial plants in. Having the water halfway up is really good for a turtle because they don't like deep swimming. They just like to go backwards and forwards. So we'll have a nice big open area for Timmy to be able to explore, plus the fish. We'll have a little retaining area, which we can then build up behind, and that's what we can actually put the terrestrial plants in. So just playing around with the wood a little bit there. Now usually I get all the shape sort of set up and then I glue everything down to rocks. But it's going to be a bit too complicated to do that this time, so I've just sort of pushed it aside for a minute. I'm going to start gluing straight away and getting everything set and then build upon it as I go. It's going to take more time this way, but I think we'll get a much better connection with everything. This all definitely needs to be secure because not only will it float, Timmy will just tear it apart otherwise. Now that is pretty much like solid straight away. And so I've got cyanoacrylate super glue, just the liquid form, and then I've got this little, it's like an instant reactor. It makes it go hard instantly, so you don't have to wait like 12 hours for it to be solid. It happens straight away. I'll leave a link for that if you're interested. It's good stuff. So I've come up with some sort of retaining wall for now, but what I want to do is fill that back area in with tons of coarse gravel and rocks and stuff like that, just basically giving it height. We need to stop any areas you see that Timmy can climb into, because if there are any gaps, he will go into them. So these areas here I'll just fill out with rocks in the front and then fill out with gravel and even more rocks in the background to bring it up to about sort of like just below where the wood would hit the surface of the water. I want the water to be right up near that sort of midway point. And then I've got this gravel here, so you can see it's nice and coarse. It's very dusty and dirty though. So I'm going to put it in this bucket, clean it up, and then put that all behind the retaining wall. Okay, so I've built everything up really nicely there. We've got some really good height to it. There's tons of gaps still, so I've ordered some black filter foam, and it's just going to fill up any gaps that rocks won't be good enough, because I know Timmy now, and turtles will find a spot they can get into and just get stuck, so I need to make sure I stop that from happening. He will be able to climb over all of this. They're excellent climbers. He'll probably be able to get around the back as well, but once he knows there's nothing there, he sort of won't do it again. That's what I've found in the past when I've done escapes like these. But yeah, I'll try and make it as best I can so that he can get out of any situation, so we'll be all good there. So I've used the black filter sponge to block out any areas I could see that Timmy could potentially get stuck. Now the good thing is, if when he goes in here, it happens in any places, I can just put some more in, so that's all good. Next job now is to fill out the back section with a much more coarse gravel that he's not going to push around, and also it'll be good to act as like a ballast for holding down the plants in that back section as well. He will get up there for sure, so we need to make sure the plants that we've got don't sort of allow him to climb, and they won't because they're soft stem, so if he was to try and climb, they'd just fall down. But he will climb over all of this. It's just going to be perfect for him just to interact with. In terms of basking areas, this area here is where I can see he's going to be up there all the time, because that'll be just out of the water and that'll be a nice dry spot for him as well. Okay, that's all that sorted at the back. The whole retaining wall is complete. Obviously we can't leave the foreground all like this, so we need to put some detail in that as well. So I'm going to stick some sand in, the same sand that was in his last tank, give it a clean up, and that should look good. There we go, a really clean foreground. Now, turtles can eat small stones, which can, you know, unlikely event, cause impaction inside the animal. So we'll refrain from putting any little detail stones, but I'll add some pebbles dotted about just to add some interest to that foreground. But the main action for the green is going to be all in that top section. I'll also put some anubias and stuff like that onto the wood. But yeah, a couple of detail stones should sort of just bring a bit more interest to that area. There we go, a couple of small details. Now let's add some plants to the wood. I'm going to use anubias. Oh yeah, I think that looks really cool. And I love the roots because these plants, the Anubias, has been growing for quite a while in other setups and it developed really long roots. Now usually in an aquascape most people sort of trim those off and keep it tidy, but in a sort of raw look we're going for in this one, I love the way they just come down and it's going to accentuate the upper plants because it will look like their roots have sort of grown through as well. Now if I was doing this as an aquascape I'll probably tie in more Anubias on this side, but like I say I want to keep this area clear for Timmy to be able to bask in. Musk turtles, they don't bask a huge amount, but they still need to have the option. And Timmy started doing it a lot more now that he's getting older. I mean, I've had him for like 4 years now, something like that, just over. He's still a tiddler, bless him, but he'll still have a nice spot there for basking. Right, I can now get this filled up with, well, not filled up, but sort of filled up to where it needs to go with water. And now it's time to, oh, it's gone a bit murky. That's because the gravel at the top wasn't washed and it's just sort of leached onto the surface, but that will be clear. We're just gonna get the filter fitted. Now what I want to do is, you see this section around here? I want to submerge the inlet into the gravel and it will sort of add like double filtration if you like. Be absolutely fine to do it that way. The flow will easily keep up, and I also want to put the outlet just sort of hanging over the edge here so that it sort of trickles in, a little bit like a water feature. That'll also remove any surface scum as well. And as you can see, the water level is just up to the gravel here, which means we can put in like the roots of any plants we want coming out of the water and they'll still grow really nicely. Yeah, so the filter is an Awase Biomaster 250. It's all cycled obviously, it's one that was already running and it's only been like less than a day, so we're all good. So there we go, we've got some really good flow there. If you just look in, you can see it's all making its way over this side. There's only one place it can go, and that's through the gravel and up out the pipe. So it's actually working really well. We've got like double filtration. But now it's time to go and get the plants for that upper section. I'm not sure what yet, but we'll have a little look what's there and see what fits that sort of size, because it's not a huge gap. I want it coming up high, but not to the point where like it's not receiving the light. So at IKEA, looking good. These are actually, like, these are the perfect size, to be honest. By the time they're sunken into that gravel and then sticking up near the top, it won't come too high above the light as well. So yeah, I think I'll go with these. So we've got the piece of lilies, but we need to prepare them because obviously they're in soil, and that's really easy to do. Just take them out, put them in a bucket of water and rinse off as much of the soil as you can. Then I'll take it to the hose and spray it to get like almost everything off, because this soil is very nutrient dense. If we get this in the water column, it's going to cause algae issues. It wouldn't be horrendous, but we want to minimise it as much as possible. Right, that is most of the dirt washed off. Now, before we plant them, I've got a little special something to add to the tank. I have got this, an ultrasonic atomizer. I mean, that sounds way more sort of amazing than it is. It's a mist maker. It's like a fogger. That's it. I'm going to put that in now so I know where to place it. I think in this side will be perfect. I can sort of bury it into the gravel a little bit, because I think it's supposed to sit just below the surface. Oh, look at that. Okay, that's going to flow out more and more. In fact, it might be better over the other side, just purely because then it will go with the water flow. Yeah, I'll try that. Nah, it was definitely better the other side. I'll go back there. Oh, there we go. The mist is flowing. The water is also clear, and I've just stirred it up a little bit more in that gravel, but yeah, I'm liking it. Obviously, if Timmy sort of sits on top of it, it will stop working, but he won't stay there for long. And it's sort of lodged in place into the gravel as well, so we shouldn't be able to go anywhere either. But yeah, let's get those plants in. Oh, and another note, don't trim off the roots either of your peace lily, because I found that they convert to being underwater a lot better when you leave the roots full like that. Sometimes they can sag in the first day or two, but I found that you really don't get much sagging at all when you leave all the roots. So it's now the next day and the tank is looking amazing. I'm so pleased with how it's turned out. I added in the peace lilies all in the background, and I also added some pothos I had as well. I trimmed it off another tank, laid it in. It just added some bigger leaves, some more texture. The variegated leaves, so like whitey, yellowy patches, just add a little bit more of a sort of colour dynamic. I'm just saying words now, but it looks great. Yeah, take a look at that. Just a little bit of the mist coming over. My aircon's on, so it's sort of blowing everything around. But nice, clean foreground. I was going to add more detail into the foreground, but I just thought, you know what? With how much is going on above and in that background area, I think it's nice just to have the clean area at the front. There's plenty of places for Timmy to be able to hide down in the little sort of darkened areas. And we've also got that basking area there, which I'm pretty sure he's going to sit in. So he's going to need his heat lamp. Now this is set to come on at various points in the day. Push that back a little bit. And it's directed now. It's very powerful. It's a UVA and UVB bulb, so it's very expensive. I think they're a good like 50, 60 pound, I think, so like $80. Mercury vapor bulb, I think is what it's called. I could be wrong there though. Now this is directed at his basking area. It doesn't come on all day, every day. I have it set for a certain amount of time, like more around midday, so he's got that area to go to. I'll switch it on so you guys can see. So there we go, look at that. Perfect little setup for him. Now usually when I'm filming, I don't keep it on because it does make the colours go a little, well, with this lens I'm using actually, it looks pretty good. It's got like a warm area to it over there, hasn't it? But now we can put our animals in, and I'm thinking, let's get the barbs in first so they can get settled, and Timmy after. And I think I'm definitely going to have to take out all this Monte Carlo to be able to catch them. Not an issue, just like that. Oh, they've all hidden. This is going to be more difficult than I thought. Clouded everything up there, but as always, get some water ready. I'll lift out the filter a little bit as well. And then the double depth method I find works best. Push them into one with the other. But you can get greedy and try and do them all in one. Oh, look at the colours on that male there. It's probably best just to get a couple at a time. There we go, there's one. I mean, a couple's ideal, but if you can only get one at a time, that's okay as well. Okay then, here go the Odessa barbs, already coloured up because we've just moved them from the wall. Yes, and they're hidden. Oh guys, I was expecting a little bit more than that, but I understand it's a new environment, but you will love this one. It's a lot better for you, to be honest. I don't know why I'm talking to them like that. Let's go and see how Timmy's doing. Timmy, you down there? He's not there. Yeah, he is, hang on. Oh, he's fully in his shell. You ready for your new home, bud? Yeah, let's get you in. Here you go, Timmy. He's probably going to stay a little bit still to begin with. You want to go? He will. There we go. Okay, straight away, that rock is too far in the front for him to run backwards and forwards, which is what he'll like. I'll move that out of the way a little bit. There we go. Looking good, buddy. Oh, I'll tell you what, Kate is going to absolutely love it. He'll be a little bit shy to begin with, but it's going to be no time, and he's settled in so fast. Every setup I've ever done for him, he's settled in so fast, and this one, like, it just looks and feels natural, so I think he's going to get on so well. Timmy can be a little bit derpy until he sort of finds out what he wants to do properly, but look at that. Look at his climbing skills. You watch. I reckon he's going to fall backwards any minute. Go on. Yeah, oh, there we go. He'll get it though. I mean, once he works out, if he comes up here, there's literally a pathway going straight up to the top. He's already spotted that's the area he wants to go. He probably sensed the heat. He's probably thinking, what is this foggy stuff? Like, whoa. Such a derp. He's brilliant though, isn't he? Fish are outlet. Fish are all comfortable. It's literally been 5 minutes as well. So, no, Timmy, just go around the other way. Just go around there. It's literally there. He'll work it out. I mean, we could just sit here for 10 minutes, couldn't we, watching him be derpy? Okay, we'll give him some credit. He's worked out that bit. He can probably, with his claws, because he's got like good claws, he could wrap around that and probably hoik himself up. But what's quite interesting is when you look at him now, look, he was, when I got him, the size of my thumb, Now he is smaller for a musk turtle, but he was the tiniest little one that was in there, and I thought he was the cutest, so I bought him. So he obviously was the runt of the litter. Is it a litter? I don't know, clutch. But yeah, size of my thumbnail he was, and now he sits in the palm of my hand around that big. So that was about 4 years ago. So there we go, what I think is an absolutely fantastic setup for Timmy here, and also his friends, the Odessa barbs as well. You might be wondering why Odessa barbs. Well, they're a nice thick sort of size and they're fast, so you know the chances of Timmy catching them is very low. They do breed, so he does sometimes catch off some of the young, but I mean that's all sort of enrichment for him. He had a little poke out the water then, and obviously decided, oh no, look, he's spotting the root. He's working it out. That's it, Timmy. Go that way. Plenty of room for you up there. There we go. His little head's about to pop out. No, thought better of it. Too dangerous, not risking it, new setup. Yeah, I don't blame you, buddy. Now he's like, oh, I've got some caves down here to explore first. I'll do that first. So it has now been several days and Timmy is doing so well. He's all over the tank now all the time. I managed to get the mister working really well as well. Like I didn't quite have it low enough. There's a little sort of fine balance as to where it makes the most mist, and I seem to have sort of found it now. So that is looking really cool, right? But yeah, time to feed Timmy. I've got him his little dried shrimp here. He absolutely loves these. There you go, buddy. He's very derpy, remember, so it takes him a little while to see them. The fish try to have a go as well, but I think it's too big and hard for them. Oh, go on, he's nearly there. There we go, he got a little bit. So Timmy always bites his food, takes it underneath the water, because they need the water to be able to swallow. They don't have tongues, so they sort of gulp it in with water. But he likes to go in like a little safe spot, like he's found in this bottom corner. Then he'll come up and try again for some more. It's quite good actually, it sort of floats about everywhere and gives him a bit of a sort of predatory instinct. Again, just enrichment. I normally put about 3 or 4 pieces in, because if you actually look at the size of him versus the size of those pieces, he doesn't need many, does he? Obviously they'll condense more than that when he eats it. There we go, he's in it. He goes up and, oh, he missed. And again, try again, please. No, just got there. There you go, good boy. Yeah, he takes it somewhere private, but I'm gonna eat this bit on my own. I like this spot over here. He's so funny, isn't he? Yeah, so he's all settled in. Over the last few days as well, I've seen him out on his different areas. I've also seen him right at the back of the tank. And what's quite good is all of the plants have been planted like well enough that he can't sort of tear them up. He just sort of pushes them around and finds gaps. But there's plenty of room actually behind there, even though it looks like lots of leaves, but down by the stems there's pretty much loads of room. Yeah, so you can see all the gravel in there. He can just sort of make his own little pathways that move all the way across. Then he comes out this side and plops back down. So the whole system is working really well. There's no way he can get out of here either. So all good. Anyway, we're going to give Timmy a little bit more time to explore his new tank. He seems to be thinking he's in the wild. I'm pretty sure he does. And if you guys want to see updates, because there will be updates, then make sure you subscribe to that. But yeah, check out future episodes and you'll be able to see him exploring, using his basking area and that kind of thing. And I look forward to seeing you again.